What's up, friendos? So it's summer break, and I'm not doing anything really new at work, so to avoid slipping into code atrophy, I decided to code something pretty sweet. I wanted something that would really make me stick out to the recruiters, something that would make Elon himself want to interview me. So naturally, I came to the conclusion that rectangular tic-tac-toe with the AI equivalent of a stoned college kid was the way to go. So I ran to my laptop, threw open the lid, popped open Sublime Text, and I did what Python programmers do. I imported. I used Pygame because it's extremely simple. I've used it before. It's pretty much just rectangles and moving them around. And for a high-level view of the flow of the game that we had to think about, we first had to start up the game, draw the board, and then we wanted to randomly pick a person to go first. And depending on whether it's the computer or the person, we need to make a move, draw the rectangle, and check to see if that person won. And drawing that initial game board was pretty easy. Getting the player move was pretty easy as well. You get the player click, the X and Y coordinates, and then you draw the rectangle in one of the three columns and one of the three rows. Not too hard. And the decision-making process was all up to the person. I didn't have to do anything. The real pain in the ass was figuring out why the black lines that appear when you win were popping up randomly in the middle of the game. And I'll give you a hint. It involved a mediocre programmer. So after coming up with the general flow of our program, I needed to implement the computer part. And first I had to think about the best way to actually play tic-tac-toe. What is the best strategy? And after sitting down for many hours, I came up with a pretty good solution. It's pretty sophisticated. So first, if you can, you win. Second, if the player is going to win, cock block them. Third, take the center. Fourth, take the corners. And after that, nobody cares. Pick whatever spot you want. So when writing this algorithm, I suspect that I did this in the hardest way possible. And if you're going to write a mean comment, you are probably justified. Essentially, to know whether a person is about to win, you check the board to see if somebody has two squares in a row, going horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. And let me tell you, there are a lot of ways to get two in a row on a 3x3 board. All in all, there's 25 if I do my math right. The corners have about 3 possibilities, the center has 5, and the middle kind of pieces have 2. And like I said, I'm not winning any medals for genius here, but it did work. And writing this made me see one of those things that pisses me off about Python, and that there's no ging switch statements. Anyways, after checking to make sure that nobody was going to win, I just checked to see where the most advantageous spot on the board was. And while I was implementing this computer decision making, the damn machine started to try cheating. Every time I had a chance, it drew 2 squares and made 2 moves. And for a brief moment, I thought that the machine was truly becoming sentient because of all the Python I was feeding it. But what really happened was I just had a bad if-else statement. Whoops. So after all that bullshit, I got to a point where I could play game after game with my new friend. And over time, I actually started to learn patterns and weaknesses in its decision process that made it easier to win. And some of those I fixed. Like, it was really easy to trap the computer if you just took certain corners. And so I patched a couple of those up, but after playing and refining and playing and refining and playing and refining for hours, you realize something. You just don't like tic-tac-toe that much. So I called it quits. I decided that being able to draw against the computer and get the occasional stupid loss or stupid win was good enough for me. And maybe this program won't put me on the map, but who am I kidding? This is tic-tac-toe. I was in way over my head. So we won't beat ourselves up too much. Anyways, if I entertained you long enough to get to the end of this video, I think I deserve a like and a comment, and tell me what you would like to see. And subscribe, because Junior needs a new pair of shoes.